of course, in addition to announcing a new multiplayer map, Prisoner, that we hadn't shown before, we also announced Installation 04, the firefight mission that'll be included as part of Halo Anniversary in November. Of course, we ended the piece off with some information about the title update. Obviously, the big news for that video is that the Classic Magnum is being brought back in multiplayer. You'll be able to play that in Anniversary Slayer game types. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the title update, just to kind of give you a rundown of what will be included in the title update, and so you'll know what to expect when that launches. We're planning on launching the title update sometime in mid to late September. We're not quite sure on the date. There's certification issues, so I don't want to promise the date if we're not going to hit it. But it will be sometime in probably late September. In addition to that, the way the title update works is we are able to control a lot of the changes and options that we've added to Halo Reach via playlist and hopper support. So you'll have game types that will allow you, for example, to play with the Halo 1 Magnum, for example, on maps. And you'll be able to do that on every single map in Reach, so it's controlled by game type. So it's not just kept back to the original or the maps that are coming out on Anniversary. We'll also be launching those first playlists that will actually support the title update in early October. So there will be a small lag between the title update downloading and the game types being released to the public. We'll also have forums available on Halo Waypoint where we're going to be checking out feedback, listening to the fans. If you check out the HaloFest space, all the stations, you'll be able to play some examples of the title update game types this weekend. But there's also going to be URL on top of all the stations, which I believe is Halo Waypoint /TU. If that might be wrong, if it is, I apologize. But we'll get the proper URL out there through Twitter, Facebook, and on all our forums and everything. So, but let me give you a quick rundown of what is added as far as title update. So we had a few things under the hood that we kind of changed. Ultimately, what we wanted to do is, for example, if you picked up Halo games in the past, playing co-op and firefight required having a hard drive in your system. So if you had a 4 GB system, you unfortunately couldn't experience those modes to the fullest of their potential. So we've actually fixed that as part of the title update, or added functionality. So if you have a 4 GB Xbox 360 system, you can now experience firefight and co-op along with everyone else. In addition to that, we've modified several things in the back end and given our designers extra options to tweak things to ultimately help create this more classic Slayer experience as part of Halo Anniversary. But along with that, we'll have some abilities to tweak some stuff in other game types in Halo Reach. So the first one off the top, some people may have noticed, we put out a gameplay match on Damnation a couple weeks ago. Some people may have noticed a few things that were there or maybe not there. So right off the bat, one of the abilities we have now is to turn on damage bleed. Through classic kind of Halo 3 style, earlier Halo tiles. So for example, in Halo Reach by itself, your shields and health system are wholly separate. So the damage that you do on the shields don't carry over to the health underneath. That's now changed. We have the ability to turn that on in a playlist so that if you take someone down really close to their shields popping, any damage you do to them will carry over to the underlying health. We also have the ability to configure reticle bloom and adjust that, and we have a wide variety of options. We can turn it off. We can put out a mode where there's no reticle bloom at all. And that's what we did in the Damnation gameplay. Well, we also have the ability to tweak it in any variable from 0 to 100%. 100% being regular Reach bloom and being able to tweak it accordingly. So we have a lot of options, and we'll be taking that feedback in from the community when the beta hoppers launch in early October. In addition, we've modified armor lock. We have the ability to modify armor lock a little bit. If you get a sticky grenade on you in Reach right now, if you get stuck, you can armor lock and it'll pop sticky grenade out and survive. That's no longer the case. So right now, if we turn on the modified armor lock and you get stuck and you armor lock, you're still going to die. Another difference is also, we also have the ability to turn on, as part of the modified armor lock, while you're armor locked, you are basically invincible as long as your bar is filled up. But any damage you take, whether it's a grenade or gunfire, anything like that, will actually cause the armor ability energy to run down faster. So for example, if a grenade gets thrown at your feet while you're armor locked, it'll cause you to lose a huge, pretty good, decent chunk of your energy. Once that's out, you're popped out of armor lock, so you're no longer invulnerable. And as part of that, we also have the ability to tweak how much damage affects that energy, so we'll be able to tweak those in different playlists as part of the beta. We also have the ability to modify active camo. So first off, we have the ability to reduce the bonus time the player gets in active camo while standing still. So hopefully if you're playing on Highlands and someone's camo sniping from across the map, they won't necessarily be able to hang out as long as they could in the past. In general, we've reduced the overall length of time the player can be in active camo. Another thing which we added in as part of the more classic experience is we have the ability to remove sword block on anything but the sword. So you can't block sword with like a gun or melee or anything like that. And one of the things I just want to point out is that every single one of these things in the title update is controlled by playlist. So you won't have the ability at home to kind of tweak them in the UI yourself, but we'll have the ability to spit out game types to react to community feedback on all these features. And that's one of the reasons we're going to be running the beta hopper before Halo Anniversary launches. So that's pretty much it for the title update. I kind of want to go back into multiplayer in general. Dan, we decided to use Reach as the multiplayer base for Halo Anniversary. Can you talk a little bit about why we chose this path?
Yeah, there were a couple of reasons we wanted to use the Reach engine for that. First of all, there's a lot of goodness that comes with that. So, I mean, what's great about it is things like save film, Forge, all of that great stuff that comes with it, we're still going to be able to use. And then there's the fun that comes with armor abilities that, you saw in the video, and I say all the time, the first time I played Beaver Creek and guys are flying over me in jetpacks, dropping grenades on me, Dennis, usually, it changes that experience quite a bit, and it makes it a lot of fun. But I mean, obviously, we know there's people that want that, whole classic experience, and those people absolutely have the ability to do that with the classic variants. But the Reach engine did offer, that kind of thing to make it interesting. I mean, then the second reason was just population, right? I mean, the notion being that if Kevin's playing Reach and I've got Anniversary, we wanted to be able to play together, and we didn't want to penalize Reach players, of course, by any means, by doing something completely different. So those were really the two primary driving reasons of why we decided to use that, the Reach engine.
And kind of following up on that, going back to the title update, Frank, the title update's a big part of, like I said, to helping to replicate the classic experience. Can you talk a little bit more about what the high-level goals were for the update and ultimately what we're trying to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, it's the number one thing is this is additive. I mean, you've already mentioned this. This is just giving people who want to play Reach differently as it ages, and obviously, more importantly, people who want to play Anniversary in as close to a CE style as we can possibly replicate. The title update lets us do that, and that was really job one. The other cool stuff that the engineering team, who worked very hard, and a special shout out to Greg Herman, one of our engineers, for making it happen so quickly. We also got to fix some little bugs, and there's some stuff we won't even bother listing because it's mostly invisible. But it was just a really great process to sit down and talk about what we could do that wouldn't wreck the game, and what we could do that could really make a classic experience. One thing I wanted to point out was David had mentioned that this is all done at matchmaking level. You can save those game types and put them in your customs as well. So while you don't have the ability to control it, you do have the ability to collate and collect game types and features that you particularly enjoy. So if you encounter in matchmaking something with the bloom all the way off, you can just save that game type, and that's automatically a part of your custom game. So it will spread around really quickly to the point where we expect just about everything will eventually be available as customs too. So I don't want to downplay customs, but as you mentioned at the start, this is a great way to, when we first looked at doing the CE multiplayer engine and trying to apply a networking layer to that and peer-to-peer, and it would have been a really different game. It would not have been the game that you remember exactly. And even if any of you guys have ever played XP Connect or XP Kai tunneling software, it changes the way the game plays, and it's not optimum. With the time we had and the schedule we had and the resources that we had, it would have been a huge risk to do that and completely impractical, and we would have showed up in the middle of 2011 with a game that interrupted the ecosystem and flow for Halo Reach. So this was the best of both worlds, and it is a compromise, but I think great things sometimes come out of compromise, and we think people are really going to like the results.
And I think Frank pretty much covered everything. One of the things I do want to add, we are going to be working with our community partners, for example, MLG, so that we can work with them to alter any game types they want to take advantage of all the features that we're offering as part of this title update.
Yeah, and that's one end of the spectrum, and on the other end is we'll work with people from all across the community so that HBO can have all plasma pistol, 200% shield, invisible darkness, nightmare maps.
And one other thing I wanted to hit on, we're going to take some questions here in a little bit, but the Firefight Mission Installation 04, Frank had been dropping some hints recently on some message boards about some little extra things we're adding. I don't know if you picked it up in the video, but you're actually going to have AI-controlled ODSTs fighting alongside you in Firefight. So if you're like Dennis, you don't have a lot of friends to play with at home, we created some friends for you in Firefight, so you can always have a battle bro on your back. So I think I think we're almost running out of time. We have about 10 minutes left. So we're going to be taking some questions. I believe there are microphones set up somewhere. Oh yeah, so we have a microphone here on the right and left. So if you can just file up real quick. And I believe we're going to have some goodie bags we're going to hand out to folks asking questions. So I think if I can get some help handing those out, that'd be great. So I think that's all the questions for us. I want to thank everyone for coming. This first panel here at HaloFest. And just as a quick reminder, we're going to be outside in the lobby hanging out for a little bit, chatting. When you get a chance, make sure you make your way over to the 8th Street Annex. It's right across the street from the Convention Center. We're on the 3rd floor. We have dozens and dozens of stations set up so you can play some Halo Anniversary. We're going to have panels and lots of other awesome stuff. So I encourage everyone to come by and check it out. Thank you.